Atlanta City Council adopts legislation authorizing the transfer of funds from the District 12, 1, 11, and 4's Consulting Professional Services account or participatory budget pilot program funds in a total amount not to exceed $175,000 to the Atlanta Police Foundation for the purchase of security cameras within the respective districts. The council approves a resolution condemning hate and extremism and affirming the City of Atlanta's ongoing commitment to cultivating an inclusive, safe, and just society and culture that values the diversity of the city's community, works to ensure equitable opportunities in all major facets of society, and celebrates both individuality and commonality. The council says yes to a resolution requesting 3 council committees conduct a feasibility study and gather recommendations for the establishment of the Department of Public Safety and Wellness in Atlanta. The council's Public Safety and Legal Administration, Community Development and Human Services, and Finance Executive Committees would be tasked with examining the creation of the new department and holding at least 2 work sessions with community partners, experts in public safety, and members of the public for feedback. The council greenlights a resolution requesting the city's chief operating officer to work with the Department of City Planning, Invest Atlanta, Atlanta Beltline Incorporated, Atlanta Housing, and the Atlanta Fulton County Land Bank to create a comprehensive, action-based plan to expedite the development of affordable workforce and supportive housing on vacant, publicly owned land. For more recently approved legislation, please visit our website, citycouncil.atlantagA.gov. This has been your Atlanta City Council Legislative Minute. I'm Phyllis Jackson. Welcome to Stay at Home Connect. Coronavirus cases continue to place a burden on our healthcare systems. Georgia hospitals approaching 85% capacity of inpatient beds and 91% capacity of ICU beds. The incoming Biden-Harris administration pushing for a major expansion of federal funding in order to manifest his goal of administering 100 million COVID vaccinations within the first 100 days of his presidency. 2 additional vaccine candidates are working to join Moderna and Pfizer in the fight against COVID. Officials with Johnson & Johnson say the interim portion of its Phase 3 clinical trials involving 45,000 people revealed the vaccine was, quote, generally well tolerated. As for the Oxford AstraZeneca offering, data from 4 clinical trials indicate moderate efficacy. Dr. Anthony Fauci says both vaccine candidates could be weeks away from evaluation from the FDA. With over 100 cases of the UK variant currently in the U.S., officials with the CDC say it's projected to grow rapidly and could become the predominant strain by March. This variant is said to be more contagious, but so far there's no proof that the variant will lead to greater illness or more deaths. With an eye on this variant and others that are emerging, the agency has also expanded its requirement for a negative COVID test to all air travelers entering the United States. In addition to current CDC recommendations, air passengers will need to get a viral test for current infection within 3 days of their flight and provide written documentation to the airline. For specifics on the COVID-19 test requirement, you can go to the CDC's website at cdc.gov. The Internal Revenue Service's tax filing season begins February 12th. This date will allow the agency time to do additional programming and test its systems following tax law changes, which led to a second round of economic impact payments due to COVID-19. The IRS says if you want a speedy refund, you will want to file your returns electronically with direct deposit. You can also file your taxes with tax software companies. That includes IRS Free File partners. These partners are accepting tax returns now, and they will be sent to the IRS starting February 12th. Atlanta City Council member Andrea Boone joins with Atlanta Police Leadership Institute, Badge to Family Outreach, Georgia Stand Up, and a group of volunteers for a cleanup of the Martin Luther King Drive corridor in recognition of the King holiday.
We want to make sure that the citizens know that we are here today. We're here to help them keep the environment clean. We're going to be picking up trash. We'll be painting graffiti. We will be cleaning up many of the cracks and crevices that folks miss when they do normal cleanups. We've done a lot of work just to plan out this community cleanup.
Atlanta City Council member Natalie Archibong celebrates Martin Luther King Jr. Day by co-sponsoring a community coat drive.
This is another example of the love and care that we have for one another. We're in a pandemic, and there's a lot of need out there. There's a lot of fear. And so this is one of those ways that we give back and share with our community. Commissioner Johnson is here with us as well. So this is an initiative that's Atlanta and the county. We're partnering with Workforce Strong, 258, and the YMCA, of course, to make sure that families in this area have winter coats for themselves and their children.
That's a wrap. We'll see you on the next edition of Stay at Home Connect.
Some of these individuals, these young men, 20 years old, facing 77 years, aggravated assault and having a weapon in their hand, and some of these crimes just triple and double. And these individuals have had to serve time, but they're in a program, a mentoring program like the Next Level Boys Academy that's changing their lives, that shows them there's a better way, and they don't have to do these things anymore, and that they can take life in their own hands by going out there and learning how to cut grass, get a job, and they're better for it. Their wants and their needs are now known. So they don't have to go after things that they want and taking it from someone else. They can go after the things that they need, work hard for it, and keep working to get the things that they want. This is now a wonderful thing. And here at the gathering spot, they gave us the space, the opportunity to do it. And at the end of it, they're even offering some of these young men jobs. And some of the business community needed to hear that because they can also continue to offer these young men jobs. And that's one thing that's going on here. And that's why we wanted to do it, to show that there's a pathway out of poverty, and there's a pathway out of some of these poor choices that young men make. And right now, we heard from the DA, we heard from the sheriff, and we talked about solutions. And we're going to keep doing that discussion as we make policies and plans to improve.
I'm grateful for all of the partners that have come in today, once again, to show how much Atlanta is a caring community. You know, we have families that are hurting, that they are trying to take care of housing and food, and making sure that all family members have safe winter clothing, clean winter clothing. These are brand new coats, and we want the community to know that they don't have to be without. We have food giveaways, and now we are having a coat giveaway for families in need.
And welcome to the Transportation Committee here with the Atlanta City Council. We have a quorum, and I want to go ahead on and introduce the members. So I hereby call this meeting to order. We have a quorum of members. We have Council Member Ide, we have Council Member Mazzucati, Westmoreland, Overstreet, and Brown on the phone. Am I missing anyone? Okay. All right. Not missing anyone. All right. Well, welcome to start. So those are our council members for today. And if another will join, then I'll make sure I introduce them. All right. Ms. Pulandini, do you mind reading the remote meeting statement?
Yes, Mr. Chair. This Transportation Committee meeting is being conducted remotely as advertised and as in accordance with OCGA 50-14-1. The meeting will be conducted in conformance with Robert's Rules of Order and the Rules of Council as authorized by the City Code. The public may access the meeting by dialing 877-579-6743, conference ID 831-599-1256, which is noted on the January 22nd, 2021 public meeting notice. The public may also view the meeting on Channel 26, the Council's homepage at citycouncil.atlantagA.gov, the Council's YouTube channel, or the Council's Facebook and Twitter pages via @ATL Council. All presentations are available on the Atlanta City Council Transportation Committee presentation page. The agenda was published and made available on January 22nd, 2021 via atlantacitygA.iqm2.com. In addition, the public was able to submit comments via voicemail at 404-330-6059 between the hours of 4 and 7 p.m. the day before this meeting. All persons present on the remote council meeting conference bridge are requested to mute your phones and speakers. Additionally, speakers must be acknowledged by the presiding officer prior to speaking. Each council member is requested to open your Outlook email and minimize the screen. Amendments, substitutes, and informational documents have been distributed to committee members beforehand. Thank you all in advance for your cooperation.
All right, good. Thank you, Ms. Pulandini, for reading off the public meeting statement. Now, I will make a motion to adopt the agenda. Is there a second?
Second, Westmoreland.
All right, we got a second by Westmoreland. Let's prepare our vote on the agenda.
The vote is open. Will everyone please vote?
Is there someone voting by voice vote? Mr. Mazzucati, can you vote? Hello, Mr. Mazzucati. Are you still here? Okay, let's mark him as away.
Right. One moment.
I'm here.
All right.
I thought I put in affirmative.
No, you're here. No, I said Mazzucati. So we see you're fine.
Okay. Thank you.
And we've been joined by Amir Faroki.
And the vote is closed.
Sorry, I'm late. Thank you.
6 yeas, 0 nays. The agenda has been adopted.
All right, next, I will make a motion to approve the minutes. Is there a second?
Second, Westmoreland.
That was somebody else second before you met Westmoreland. Who was that? All right, we'll go with Westmoreland.
I think it was Westmoreland both times. Just
Oh, you said it twice. Oh, gotcha. Okay, so Westmoreland second, so let's prepare to vote.
The vote is open. Will everyone please vote?
Let's go ahead on and mark Mr. Massaquoi away as well. Let me see if he's sending a text for you. Oh, okay.
The vote is closed. 6 days, 0 nays. The minutes have been approved.
All right, now we need to go over our transportation committee goals and objectives. Ms. Culandini has emailed them to everyone. Do you want to, so let's give it, did anyone say anything in, Ms. Culandini?
No, Mr. Chair, I didn't receive any.
Okay. Council members, do you guys have some things that you want to add and need 2 more weeks, or are we ready to approve committee goals?
I'd like to have 2 more weeks if that's possible.
Okay. All right. Well, let's get 2 more weeks, and then everybody email me and Ms. Culandini your additions to the goals. All right. Now let's play public comment. We just have 2.
One moment, please.
This is Kyle Kessler, a downtown resident in District 4, calling to ask the Transportation Committee to hold legislation for 21-0-0056, the abandonment of Capitol Square Southwest or Mitchell Street. This street has been claimed by the state since the 1950s, and they have been shutting it down routinely during the legislative sessions since 2018 to make sure the state legislators can get back and forth from the Capitol to their office buildings. I understand that the January 6th attack on our nation's capital is being used to justify why this needs to be happening right now. But the city ordinances also need to be, particularly regarding notification to entities such as the ATU, which has not yet received formal notification of the street abandonment. I'm also concerned about plans for the MARTA BRT to Summer Hill, and that route that could be affected, as well as potential 2-way conversion of MLK and Mitchell Street, which has not yet happened. Overall, I would love to see a plan from the Georgia Building Authority. Their Capitol Hill 2040 plan calls for a variety of options for this street. I have not seen anything final regarding if they are proposing a full closure to pedestrians and vehicles, or just to motor vehicles, or just proposal for a bridge tunnel to go between the office buildings. As you know, they have closed off Depot Plaza with fencing, Liberty Plaza with fencing, Plaza Park with fencing, and now the Capitol grounds themselves with fencing. And I hate to see this street completely blocked off for all public use and convenience, which is what you have declared in your ordinance that this is no longer useful for the public use or convenience. So I want to make sure we're actually justifying that the public does not need access to this street to be able to get to and from places downtown. Once again, Kyle Kessler, I would hope that you please hold this legislation 21-0-0056 regarding the abandonment of Capitol Square. Thank you.
Greetings, Transportation Committee members and staff, and special greetings to you citizens and voters of Atlanta, monitoring your government in action and taking note of how comments made by Atlanta residents are treated by elected officials. Ben Howard, Senior Advocate, Public Policy Analyst. We're not planning advisory board, APAB, Saturday, January 16th at 10 o'clock. Under APAB President Debbie Skupczynski, APAB has not reactivated the Transportation Committee, which had been so aptly chaired by Melissa Firestone before her transition. Neighborhood Planning Unit R, previously chaired by Antonita Robinson and by Colas Clare and by Ricardo Jacobs, has had no Transportation Committee for years. When Ricardo Jacobs did go to APAB, it was to promote Ricardo Jacobs. When Antonita Robinson and Colas Clare went to APAB, it was to try to sway APAB and City Hall police against Ben Howard. There are a number of reasons why the City of Atlanta needs to ensure that APAP and Neighborhood Planning Unit or both should be required to have transportation committees. Citizens need to know about Ordinance 21-0-0031 regarding the grant from the Georgia Department of Transportation for pedestrian improvements. Residents need to be brought up to date on the status of solar-powered driverless buses and how laid-off bus drivers and transit workers will be retrained for careers in other fields. Residents need to know the relationship between their tax dollars and the Atlanta streetcar and the Atlanta Beltline. So where are those NPUR movers and shakers? They're still at NPUR in 2021, hiding behind the scenes after having taken a summer vacation in June of 2020 and the winter vacation in December of 2020. Anthony Robinson is the 2021 vice chair, although the NPUR agenda doesn't reveal that fact. The office of secretary remains unfilled, although the NPUR agenda doesn't reveal that fact. Such acceptance of the NPUR 9 modus operandi should not continue year after year after vexatious year. It's time for change. Be advised that any attempt to enhance civic engagement at NPUR, however, will be met with ferocious opposition from the NPUR 9 Vice Chair and the NPUR 9 cohorts and supporters.
And that concludes our public comment.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for those public comments. Now let's go to ordinances for first reading.
Item number 1, 21-0-0074, an ordinance by Transportation Committee authorizing the mayor or her designee on behalf of the City of Atlanta to execute all appropriate documents to grant a utility easement across the real property known as 1180 Virginia Avenue and 1200 Virginia Avenue, land lot 127, District 14 of Fulton County, Georgia, waiving Real Estate and Procurement Code Article 10, Subdivision 3, Sections 2-1571, 2-1572, and 2-1574 of the City of Atlanta Code of Ordinances and for other purposes. On our regular agenda, we have item number 2, 21-0-0029, an ordinance for Transportation Committee amending the FY 2021 Airport Revenue Fund and Airport Renewal and Extension Budget by adding anticipations to the Revenue Fund for CARES Act grant funds in the amount of $180,881,143.00, by adding appropriations to the Revenue Fund in the amount of $377,750.00, by adding appropriations to the Renewal and Extension Fund in the amount of $4 million.00, to fund certain costs associated with the maintaining compliance and operations of the airport, and by adding appropriations to the Revenue Fund in the amount of $109,420,025.00 to fund debt service transfers to the sinking fund and for other purposes. And there's an amendment in your packet which reduces the appropriation to the Revenue Fund from $109 million plus dollars to $87 million.
I'll make a motion to amend the amount. Is there a second?
Overstreet, second.
All right, Mr. Overstreet, second. Let's prepare a vote.
The vote is open. Will everyone please vote?
Westmoreland, a yay.
We're still waiting for one more vote.
And let's move forward and mark Mr. Mazzacaitis away.
One moment, please. Vote is closed. 6 yeas, 0 nays. This item has been amended.
Mr. Feldman.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. How are you, sir?
Outstanding. Thank you. How are you?
I'm excellent. Thank you. So this paper is, there's $100,377,750. We'd like to create the budget in our revenue fund to pay for debt service of $87 million and then another $13.3 million that brings that total up to the $100,377,000. And of the $13 million, 4.5 is for legal, $500,000 is for airport operations, and the 6.9 is for security. And what this will allow us to do is fund those programs and then be reimbursed with CARES dollars at a later date. So we needed to create the budget. The other piece of this paper is there's $4 million budget being appropriated in our revenue and extension fund and renewal and extension fund, and that will allow us to buy 4 new fire trucks for our ARF department, which have reached for these 4 trucks are part of our program to reduce our aged trucks that are at the end of their life. So this is a good paper here that will help us facilitate using the CARES dollars that the airport has been provided with by the federal government.
All right, move approval as amended. Move approval as amended is what I'm trying to say. The second?
Second.
All right, seconded by Westmoreland. Let's prepare a vote.
Vote is open. Will everyone please vote?
Let's mark Mr. Massacre. Oh, there he is. Okay.
The vote is closed. 6 yeas, 0 nays. This item is favorable as amended. Our next item is number 3, 21-0-0030, an ordinance by Transportation Committee to amend the FY 2021 Airport Renewal and Extension Fund, Airport Passenger Facility Charge Fund, Airport Customer Facility Charge Fund, 2012 Bond General Airport Revenue Fund, 2012C Bond General Airport Revenue Fund, 2019 A Non-AMT Garbs, 2019 B AMT Garbs, 2019C Airport PFC and Sublien Revenue Bond Fund, and 2019B Airport PFC and Sublien Revenue Bond Fund budgets by transferring to and from appropriations a total amount of $42,726,842.74 for reimbursement of the Airport Renewal and Extension Fund and for other purposes.
Mr. Selden.
Yes, sir. So this $42.7 million paper, what we do here at the airport is we use our R&E fund to fund certain projects, and there's a list of projects, and some of them are I can give you a quick example, our taxiway Victor bypass, the enabling work for our 5 new gates. These projects are being finished. And what we do here is we go get loans through either our passenger facility charge accounts, our customer facility charge accounts, which is from our rental car center. There are general airport bonds. And what we do is we take the financing from those bonds now and we pay ourselves back. And then those are the funds going forward that are reimbursed or provided to us via the PFCs or our airlines through our general aviation revenue bonds. So we're paying ourselves back for the funds that we use to construct these $42 million worth of projects, and that creates the capacity back in our revenue and our renewal and extension fund. So this is just a transfer of appropriations for us. Thank you.
Okay, I make a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second, Westmoreland.
Okay, let's prepare our vote.
The vote is open. Will everyone please vote?
Mr. Brown?
Vote is closed. 6 yeas, 0 nays. This item is favorable. Our next item is number 4, 21-0-0031, an ordinance by Transportation Committee authorizing the mayor or her designee on behalf of the Atlanta Department of Transportation to accept grant funding from the Georgia Department of Transportation for pedestrian improvements, to enter into a grant agreement and to amend the fiscal year 2021 intergovernmental grant fund budget by adding to anticipations and appropriations the amount of $4,091,276.80 for the 2020 local maintenance improvement grant, to enter into agreements with the Georgia Department of Transportation for implementation of grant acceptance and participation and for other purposes.
All right, Mr. Rowan.
Sorry, sir, a little muting issue. Good morning, Mr. Chair. Josh Rowan, the Commissioner of Atlanta Department of Transportation. I'm going to ask that Cotina Alexander also be unmuted. She has the details on this one, but this is just another good result from our team collaborating with GDOT. Nearly $500,000 for safety improvements. And if Cotina could come in and share some of the details, that would be excellent.
Good morning, Cotina Alexander, Atlanta Department of Transportation. In previous fiscal years, we applied for the LNIG funding for some pedestrian improvements. We have been awarded $491,276, which is 70% of the project cost. The 30% match will be done in-house using our signs, our markings, and our design. The projects are pedestrian hybrid beacons, which will be located on Lee Street at York Avenue, Lee Street north of Beecher Street, at 2170 Cheshire Bridge Road, at 507 Boulevard Southeast, and 794 Boulevard Southeast, and a rectangular rapid flashing beacon on Westlake Avenue at Browning Street. And this, as the Commissioner said, this legislation is to accept the grant funds from the Georgia Department of Transportation.
Move approval. Westmoreland.
All right. Second, Dickens.
The vote is open. The vote is closed. 7 yeas, 0 nays. This item is favorable. Our next item is number 5, 21-0-0056, an ordinance by Councilmembers Michael Julian Vaughn, Matt Westmoreland, and Dustin Hillis authorizing the mayor or her designee on behalf of the City of Atlanta to abandon a portion of Capitol Square Southwest located in the land lot 77 of the 14th District of Fulton County, Georgia, directing the mayor or her designee to execute a quitclaim deed of the abandonment of the state of Georgia, waiving sections 138-9 and 2-1678 of the City of Atlanta Code of Ordinances and for other purposes. And there's a substitute in your packet which waives all provisions of section 138-9 and 2-1678.
All right, there's a need to bring forward the substitute, so I'll make a motion to bring forward the substitute. Is there a second?
Second, Westmoreland.
Let's prepare to vote on the substitute.
The vote is open. The vote is closed. 7 yeas, 0 nays. The substitute is now before you.
All right. I don't know who's speaking to this.
from DOT, sir?
Yes.
I'm speaking to this one. This is one that we have a pretty standard position for these types of papers. We're asking that it be held, and that we be allowed to follow the department's abandonment process. After conferring with the law department, there may be some legal issues related to this that would need to be sorted as well. So our ask is for a hold, and that we be allowed to follow the abandonment process as it's written.
All right. So we received your message. I have some others that are now texting me saying they want to speak. I have Dustin Hillis, and I have Amber Robinson texting. So, Ms. Robinson, go ahead, and then I'll hear from Mr. Hillis.
Hi, this is Amber Robinson from the Department of Law. Law has had a chance to look over this paper. I believe there was a substitute brought forward, but I have not seen the substitute, but based on the paper that was originally read in, and our analysis of that is, just as the commissioner has stated, that there are legal issues as this paper is set forth. Because it doesn't go through the appropriate process, there are issues concerning the gratuities clause as well as the separation of powers clauses of the Georgia Constitution that are implicated in this ordinance as was originally read in. So if the process were to go through, if this were to go through the process as the commissioner states, then I believe that these issues could be alleviated. However, as written, we believe that there are constitutional problems with this legislation.
Okay. All right. So we've heard from Atlanta DOT, and we've heard from Law. Mr. Hillis, are you on the line as well?
Yes, Chairperson Dickens. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, so I'm, of course, the co-sponsor of this paper, and certainly would not want to be if there were impending legal issues. However, this is a deal with the state who wrote the Constitution, and we have done similar deals before my time on council, because I've researched this back. We've done similar deals and giving land for the Georgia World Congress Center, for Atlanta Tech, for Georgia Tech. And as was mentioned before, this has been talked about for years. The state blocks it off anyways during session, with the legislators going back and forth across Capitol Square. So this is certainly a safety issue. With what has happened at our nation's capital and all the security that was required around the Capitol during their inauguration. And not just during session, but this is going to make this area more pedestrian friendly throughout the year when people are visiting the Capitol and the offices. So asking my colleagues to support this. Thank you.
This is Westmoreland. I'll make a motion to adopt on substitute.
All right.
Second. Aye.
So we've had a motion and a second by Westmoreland and I. Let's prepare to vote. And that's on substitute.
The vote is open. Vote is closed. 6 yeas, 1 abstention. This item is favorable on substitute. Our next item is number 6, 21-0-0060, an ordinance by Councilmember Dustin Hillis authorizing the mayor or her designee to make the intersections of Perry Boulevard Northwest and Habershaw Drive Northwest, Perry Boulevard Northwest and West Highland Drive Northwest, Perry Boulevard Northwest and Stanford Drive Northwest, Perry Boulevard Northwest and Drew Drive Northwest, and Perry Boulevard Northwest and McCallie Boulevard Northwest in the West Highlands neighborhood, all-way stop-controlled intersections. to authorize the Atlanta Department of Transportation to install stop signs at the intersections and for other purposes.
Cotina Alexander, ATL DOT. We have conducted studies along Perry Boulevard at all of the with the intersection of Habersham Drive, West Highland Drive, Drew Drive, and McCallie Boulevard. We, as we know, Perry Boulevard is classified as a major collector, and all the other named roads are local streets. We are okay with moving the legislation forward to install the always stop sign.
And now we also have Bethany Hillis still on the line to speak to this.
Yes, thank you again, Councilmember Dickens. Again, looking at pedestrian safety, this is the second round of always stops, particularly used for traffic calming that we've done at District 9. The previous was DeFore Avenue, which you're uniquely familiar with, Chairperson Dickens. Will be the second one. We've had a lot of complaints over the years to Perry. It's kind of used as an artery into the city, and people do not obey the speed limit. Has led to a lot of issues with the houses there in the West Highlands. So I want to thank Commissioner Rowan, Ms. Alexander, and the others that have worked on this, and would ask for my colleagues' support again. Thank you.
Move approval.
Matt was willing to make the motion to approve. I'll make a second, and I did just want to echo all the comments about that. This is all in trying to keep up with safety. This is a major collector for people coming from Cobb County, and they cut through, and then there's communities there and communities being built. So this will help calm traffic and make sure that, people are safe. So I really am glad of the teamwork that went into this. So I make the second.
The vote is open. The vote is closed. 7 yeas, 0 nays. This item is favorable. Our next item is number 7, 21-R-3043, a resolution by Transportation Committee authorizing the mayor or her designee to enter into a right-of-way mowing and maintenance agreement with the Georgia Department of Transportation on behalf of the Atlanta Department of Transportation for mowing and maintenance services for the areas located at PI 001571-774 Fulton County, CS 519/Armour Drive at CS 520/Monroe Drive, and PI 0016362 Fulton County, State Route 13 at CS 520 Monroe Drive under the control of Georgia Department of Transportation as shown in Exhibit A and for other purposes.
Cotina Alexander, Department of Transportation. Georgia Department of Transportation made some pedestrian improvements at the intersection of Armour Drive and Monroe Drive. Those improvements included a MARTA bus stop, some landscaping, and some pedestrian infrastructure. We take control of these improvements once they have been made by Georgia Department of Transportation, and we are asked to enter into a mowing and maintenance agreement to maintain the improvement. And so this legislation allows us to enter into the mowing and maintenance agreement with the Georgia Department of Transportation for the improvements at Armour and Monroe.
Unless Ms. Howard wants to speak to this, since it's her area, I will make a motion to approve.
Second. Westmoreland.
All right, let's vote.
The vote is open. Vote is closed. 7 yeas, 0 nays. This item is favorable. Item number 8, 21-R-3044, a resolution by Transportation Committee authorizing the mayor and designee to execute an agreement with McCarthy Improvement Company, Ramp 19, and Taxi Lane A3 Pavement Replacement, ISB-C 1210094, at Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport on behalf of the Department of Aviation for a term of 600 calendar days for substantial completion, 720 calendar days for final completion, in an amount not to exceed $52,768,791.07. All services will be charged to and paid from TTAEO and FDOA as listed herein and for other purposes. And there's an amendment in your packet which attaches the Independent Procurement Review Office report.
All right, let's make a motion to amend. Is there to attach the iPro? Is there a second?
Second, Westmoreland.
The vote is open. Vote is closed. 7 yeas, 0 nays. The item has been amended.
Mr. Selden.
Yes, sir. John Selden, the General Manager of Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport. Ramp 19 and taxi lane Alpha 3 are up near, there's a Delta ramp with access to our taxiway system. That's the taxi lane. It's up by Loop Road right next to the Southwest hangar, if you're familiar with that area. It's about 24 acres, and we're going to put down about 100,000 square yards of 18-inch deep concrete. This ramp in its current condition and taxi lane are in very poor condition and are breaking up, and we're looking forward to getting this job started. And it is a long project of 600 days because we still need to be able to use part of the ramp at the same time while we're renovating the other half of the ramp. So we're very looking forward to getting this project started with McCarthy, who does work here quite a bit. Thank you.
All right, I make a motion to approve as amended.
Second.
Okay, second.
Second.
I heard Westmoreland.
The vote is open. The vote is closed. 7 yeas, 0 nays. The item is favorable as amended. Our next item.
Has Ms. Pulandini muted, or is it just me?
I'm sorry, I was muted. The previous item was favorable as amended. 7 yeas, 0 nays. And our next item is number 9, 21-R-3045, a resolution by Transportation Committee authorizing the mayor or her designee on behalf of the City of Atlanta to enter into a renewal agreement with HSSALL N1-HCL LLC for FC-9572 security screening and inspection services at Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport in an amount not to exceed $21,039,239.04 each fiscal year. All services will be charged to and paid from account numbers listed herein and for other purposes.
All right, Mr. Selden again.
Yes, sir. So HSS All-in-One provides our civilian guard services here. Their contract started in February of 18. It's 3 years, and we'd like to execute their one and only 2-year option. HSS and All-in-One do a really good job for us here. We had a no discrepancy report from the TSA last year. They provide services at our 5 employee screening checkpoints. They do inspections of our terminals throughout the day. They man our 9 vehicle access gates. There's literally hundreds of maybe thousands of doors here at the airport. They're all alarmed. When one of them opens, one of the guards has to respond within 3 minutes. They provide that service, and they also provide perimeter patrols around our 20-mile fence line here that we have at Hartsfield-Jackson. And they do a good job with us, and we would really like to provide this option to them. Thank you.
Motion is to approve. Is there a second? Hello, is there a second?
Overstreet, second.
Okay, we have a second by Overstreet.
The vote is open. The vote is closed. 7 yeas, 0 nays. This item is favorable. We have one more item. This was a referral from Public Safety to the Transportation Committee. It's Resolution 21-R-3041, a resolution by Councilmember Marcy Collier Overstreet authorizing the Departments of Aviation and the Atlanta Fire and Rescue to execute a memorandum of understanding to allow the Atlanta Fire and Rescue Department to rent the facility at 5155 Clipper Drive, College Park, Georgia, for a term of 5 years and for other purposes. It was referred to the Transportation Committee because of the committee's purview over the Department of Aviation, and the department has requested that this be held.
All right. If no one has any objections, I'll make a motion to hold. Is there a second?
Overstreet, second.
Okay.
All right, let's vote.
The vote is open. The vote is closed. 7 yeas, 0 nays. This item will be held. And that concludes our legislative items.
All right. Are there any other items now that we've concluded our legislative items? Is there any other piece of business from any council members? Anybody else got anything else they want to add? If not, please get in your committee goals and objectives. I know you guys, we did so much work together in 2020. We had great goals. So think about it now and add your goals in so we can get them in. We will be voting on our goals next meeting. So let's get them in. All right. Anything else? If there's nothing else, we stand adjourned. Thank you all.
Thank you.